Welcome to the place. Oh, happy New Year to you. What is the confit juice? You know what's happening here?
Made in Ghana.
This is also made in Ghana.
This is made in Ghana here.
Are you wondering?
Eat your own, grow your own.
Right now, this is what the NPP people who have been on the road for the last few months.
They are enjoying.
They are enjoying. Some of them will be enjoying juice. Others will be chewing granules.
Finally, they get to pass the back.
If you are like Winston, you get some cognac. And you'll be sipping, and then you'll be watching the NDC drama part 1 and 2.
You say, self-destruction on this way. How can people on their own wake up one day and say, I want to destroy ourselves? And that's a very interesting conversation.
When NPP is on the rope, the president has run away. The finance minister. I mean, the NPP, and all of a sudden, NDC says,
no, we won't take over.
We won't take over.
We've not been in the news for long.
Exactly.
Yes.
So we want to press the self-destruct button.
Yes, true.
Anyway, thank you. Enjoy coming and go.
I think the NDC probably may see this as cleansing of a sort. They may see it as the reshuffle needed. You know, I've consistently maintained that when the NPP did, suspended Afoko, Sami Crab, and Kwabena Japan in 2015, a lot of people felt it was going to hurt the NPP's chances, and they won. So the NDC feels that, and when you speak to some of the NDC members, they feel that this is the way to go. Of course, I mean, some of the things they're telling you in public may not be the real reasons why they've taken this decision, but they think that's the way to go. And you've heard Ato Forson make the point, we're not going to do this, we're not going to do this, we're not going to do that. That's how, Parliament works sometimes. Particularly if you are appointed around this time, you have to sound very tough. You sound tough until it becomes obvious that, man, take your time.
Raymond, have you seen this before? Where there are two press conferences, two very distinct, separate, with different agendas, from the same political party, at the same time, on the same issue, with two diametrically opposed positions.
I mean, if it were to be within the party hierarchy, so maybe in times past, you recall that there was a time that, I think it was within the NPP, that different groups support or...
That was around the Afoko,
you could see that fight. Virtually every 5 hours, you have to get your car ready. There'll be a new press conference. Somebody is delivering one. Somebody is also going to say something different. But beyond that, in Parliament, having such a divided front, it was... When I first heard, when the team, the rebels on the NPP side, did their press conference, the second group I thought was going to do a different press conference. But when that man, Patrick Mahama, came up, he basically endorsed the earlier statement of the first team and said categorically that we believe that change will help and everything will go through that lane. So it didn't become like a different team altogether. But again, yes, it's true. This is the first time I've seen within the NDC. And there's a history to how the NDC operates. You recall that choosing leaders, even national chairman, they did it by so-called consensus previously. Until around the 2000s, where the party had to reform a facade into a system that, in fact, they even justified it. They said the party was now growing and full-blown participatory election to get leaders was going to be problematic for the future because it will be acrimonious, it might lead to other things. But you recall what the Swedio Declaration and other things did to the NDC. So they learned the lesson. That's why they had co-chairman at the time. And even parliamentary leadership. They had some small engagements and they actually settled on some of the people they wanted to put in the House. Fast forward to what is happening now. It is perhaps the most surprising development this year so far. Take out domestic debt exchange. It was expected. Take out all the conversations about individual whatever bond holding. Take out the fact that the president has sacked somebody. But this is so dramatic that people are waking up to now smell the coffee. Check the people in Tamale South. Check the people in Asawase. From yesterday and the day before, yesterday, the protest that has been erupting in those areas, it's almost as if the NDC is bent on saying, we don't want our numbers in Parliament to be united. We want a main NDC and the minority within the minority.
Which is what is happening. But really, what is happening within the NDC?
Well, you see, Officially, the NDC says they're reshuffling because they want to strategically position themselves for election 2024. That may not be the real position. So let me start with the official position. So they feel that it's going to be a discussion about the economy. And if it's going to be a discussion about the economy, we have to do this. I think what is really happening in the NDC is power play.
Yeah.
It's a power play.
Between which blocks?
Well, I mean, you can say, I mean, initially you would have said that it was, between the new executive that is very loyal to the former president and those perceived not to be loyal to the former president.
But when it started, that's how we thought it was.
That's how we thought it was. Until you now see loyalists of the former president supporting the, do I say former leadership in parliament? They still maintain they are the leaders, they still, the minority leaders. So until that time, I have probably said this is the reason. But when you have loyalists of the former president also backing Haruna Idrisu and Muntaka, then you ask the question, what is really wrong? To be very honest with you, I think at this point in time that the executive may have taken a few things for granted. And so the executive could have just done this nicely by having a NEC meeting, inviting the 20 members, including a minority leader and a chief whip, and telling them in that meeting that this is what we want to do. Okay, and that would have solved everything. He didn't go around it in the way that the caucus expected it to be done. Now, the real problem for me is how does the NDC solve this? That's the real issue now. Now, do they sit down and engage? Once they sit down, then it means that the caucus that says, come and consult, we don't have a problem. When they go and consult, would they keep the same leadership?
Yeah.
It's another issue.
Yeah.
If they keep the same leadership, bingo, it works perfectly. But having said that also...
As in when they keep the same leadership, as in same Haruna Muntaka?
Nope. The one that the party are to forcing...
Oh, yeah, of course. Of course. I mean, that won't change from where we were.
Yeah, so, I mean, if that doesn't change and the others buy in, bingo, that's it. But if they go and consult, for instance, and the others say, how about we strike an agreement? We give you one. Anything can happen. But in all of these things, as we have seen in the past with the debt exchange and everything, when they say we are going to negotiate, it's just to convince you to actually accept the position. I agree to what has been said. I think that's what the party...
But in the press conference we watched of Fifi Kwete and co., it makes the point next week, Tuesday, there was going to be some meeting of a sort where the decision will be confirmed. Yes. Right?
And the confirmation I talk about, or confirmation,
and I'm like,
confirmation could come in different forms. You probably would say that, you had doubt, you had concerns about it. We're coming here to tell you that this is what we intend to do, and to, allay all your fears about procedure and everything, so that decision become the decision of the party and of the caucus. Or probably, okay, this is just a temporary measure. We're coming to you to come and inform you. And after the information, that is when we will take, a final decision. But I think it's actually the former. The party is going to come in and say, look, guys, this is what we intend to do. And they would raise the questions about NEC and FEC and all of that. But at the end of it all, you would expect a major party like the NDC to be able to solve this.
Yeah. Okay, I mean, as for solve, I think they will. And the solution will look like Dr. Kizlato Forsing will remain the minority leader. The deputy will be Amakofi Boa. The minority whip will be Kwame Aboja, and the rest, will follow in place. Because obviously, they've written to the speaker already. Yeah, that shows clear intent. Not only have they written to the speaker, as we speak, they are meeting with the speaker. The leadership of the party meeting with the speaker and introducing to the speaker the new leadership. Right? So as for that we've crossed that Rubicon. There's no coming back. The problem though is, and that's where for me I feel very sad for Dr. Kizlato Forsing, because you have a situation where the Haruna Muntaka loyalists within the parliament might not cooperate with them. Well, and for me, that's a bigger challenge.
What you were saying, right? Today, there are more than 3 groups that are culminating into the opposition here. the loyalists of the people that have been removed. Loyalists who are also loyalists of, who are also opponents of Esiedin Ketia.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
There are many of them.
Some of them, they cut across the two.
Yeah.
Some have personal
They may not like Haruna
yes,
and Co, but they
just don't like Esiedin Ketia
yeah.
and the decisions he makes as a human being.
Yeah.
And even becoming national chairman, they were opposed to it. So that group is also backing it. They first would have kept quiet because they really do not think that a handling of district problem is their problem. But they are not keeping quiet because if they join, they will send a clear signal and say the Ketia's first most important decision failed. And that's the point they want to make. And the indications that it's not a unifier, it's not going to build bridges and all of that, they are going to prove that point that this is what's really happening. So that group is part of it. There is also a third group that belongs to none of these groups. They have their own problems with John Dramani Mahama. They are also part of this fight. So they struggle.
And there's actually a fourth group that actually thinks that no, irrespective of anything, you got the process wrong.
Yeah.
And if we don't check it today, you would continue that way.
I actually feel that that group would have been the easiest to convince.
Dr. Dominica Yine. Dr. Dominica Yine.
In fact, I
belongs
believe that group would have been so quiet, they would not make their objections known to the public. Why do I believe so? That group, if it still remains loyal to the John Mahama faction, and also believe one way or the other that the national leadership of the party is still a proper legitimate leadership, what they would have been doing is talking to them within. Anybody who comes out is playing either the mainstream game or his own game in a different pattern. And if you take each of the individuals, they have a different story to tell. Take that one aside. There is also a certain bigger caucus, which is purely ethnic, that's also funding all of these things from within.
Yeah, that ethnic color
yes,
play.
It's been shared. If you have seen those WhatsApp messages, you have seen those statements they are putting out there. If you have seen those who see this as a certain attack on a group of people, that cannot be joked with. And for some of the MPs, if you are not seen openly backing that particular grouping, mindful of the fact that you belong to it and you draw your strength from that group, you are equally in trouble. So the dynamics are very varied. What I expect will happen at the end of the day, and to come with casualties too, it will come with casualties of, because unfortunately, Esiedin Ketia is not the one to give up. He's also not the one. See, he is one of those politicians who would get what he wants, even if it's not immediately, but will push till he gets that point down. He believes that this rebellion must not continue. So installing the new group may not be his main problem, but proceeding to make sure there's a clean-up in Parliament, that people of a certain thinking are the only ones they believe should be in Parliament, may be his next path, and see how that rolls out into the future.
I mean, look, there's a lot of wheeling and dealing that will happen.
Yeah.
Because apart from the leadership, they now that they've triggered this, they also have to reshuffle their leaders on the various committees.
Yeah.
So there's a trade-off, right? I mean, people will suggest names, and if the factions you talk about, everybody will have. You have to satisfy all those people in these appointments that will happen. But the bigger challenge for me is, if you were Dr. Kesel Atofose, what will you do? Because unfortunately, he has become the victim of this conflict. Because from everything I've heard, this is not something that he instigated. Esiedin Ketia wanted this to happen, and Fifi Kwete wanted this to happen, and somebody felt he's the man to do the job, and so they called him. Of course, would he turn it down? No, of course I won't turn it down. So he rightly accepted, but he's been placed right in the center of this very, very dirty, threatening conflict that he somehow, and that's why he did a press conference today. And look, the press conference today he did was, for me, the right step strategically. I mean, I know Winston disagrees a bit, but I think strategically it was the right thing to do, because you've had 2 days where people who are opposed to you or opposed to the process that led to your appointment
have been out there,
are dominating the conversation, right? And you've been quiet.
It may even suggest you have not accepted the thing yet.
Exactly.
Or you are contemplating.
Exactly.
And that you are not so sure.
Oh, but he had issued a statement. No, but he had issued a statement.
No, there's something today.
Yes, today. I mean,
No, but
before
that's
the
my
press
point I'm
conference.
making. That statement and the press conference was strategic, because that his silence since Monday was taking us, because remember, on the NDC minority platform, and I had the privilege of being exposed to what was happening on the platform. That 70, it started as 40. Yesterday it went to 60. This morning, Clinton tells us they're 70 now. Those 70 NDC MPs, when it first started, when the appointment was first confirmed, on the very leading members in our NDC ranks took the view, and they had a lot of people supporting it, that Atufo Singh, Agboja, Boa should reject the appointment until consultations are done. Right? That was the view that it was taking. And many people joined that view, that they should go and tell Asedu Kete and Co. that, yeah, we like the thing, but you go and do, and they warned them, if you don't do that, we'll consider this an imposition and won't work with you. It was told in black and white on the NDC platform. So you have that period where all this, and Atu was quiet, right? Never contributed to the conversations on the platform, never spoke. Many took that to be he himself is unsure whether this was right? And so he's not sure it's possibly, and he emboldened the opposition to say, but the people themselves are not talking, which means that, they, because if there's an acceptance, that you say, oh, thank you very much, and I promise. He hasn't done any of that. So clearly, somebody would have told him, hey guys, there's a huge battle raging out there because of your appointment, and you, the guy I've put forth, you aren't saying anything.
You're not giving any indication that you are in for it, or you are even considering it anyway.
So strategically, he had to go out today to make the point that I am your new leader.
And that we are moving on.
We are moving on.
We are even engaging in
exactly. And
my agenda is clear.
Yes. And my priority number one is to unite our ranks. And our first objective is to do public hearing into COVID-19. He was already setting a path.
That's true.
Right? So that was strategic. But of course, once you do that, and now you make it, because now he's made it formal.
Yeah.
Once he made it formal, listen, the NDC press conference that was done wasn't part of the plan today. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
The original plan was that Ato will go to the NDC with his new leaders, meet the executives, thank them for the appointment. From there, they would have gone to Speaker, done the same thing, and then next week, John Mahama told this out of the country will come, then they'll meet him and then
everything is settled.
But after Ato's press conference, the opposition fell, goodness me, if he's accepted it,
then there's no room for dialogue.
If he's accepted it,
there's no room for
but hold on a second. But Evans, hold on a second.
Let's also go out there.
There was no way the NDC would have put out Ato's name without him accepting.
Of course,
he has accepted.
I'm talking about
from an open
formal. Exactly. The formal open public. Remember, this game that is being played. It's being played
in the media alone.
But remember, the bigger constituency is NDC grassroots across the country.
Yeah.
Who will not have the insider knowledge that even me I have on the platforms, right? So if Atu has accepted it, if Atu had accepted it, right, in private, if Atu had accepted it in private, but had not accepted it, publicly, the grassroots will know. And
by the time the information gets to them, you see, it's room for change.
You know what will cause the party to change its position? If the view is that the generality of the grassroots are swinging one way or another.
Well, it looks, look, at this point in time, it looks like, and see, this is what is happening actually in the NDC. Those who are in favor are mobilizing. Those who are against are also mobilizing.
Exactly.
So, right, but you see, I didn't have a problem with the first press conference. I actually have a problem with the second one. By the party.
No, but I had a problem with the second one.
Yes, I have a problem with that awareness and the party coming in again.
No. I had a problem with Cletus Avoka and Muntaka Mokana.
I have a problem with Muntaka showing up at that press conference. Because Cletus Avoka spoke very well. Cletus Avoka only came out with a plea.
No, but in that he said that we recognize
Yes.
Harold Edrisu's leader.
Because Parliament is still in a recess. And so once Parliament is under recess, it is only when we are back that the Speaker would announce changes. So until such a time, they're acting. But we're saying, hold on, let's consult until the primaries are over, then you come up again. Okay. Look, I did not think it was necessary to actually have had the party with Johnson Asiedu Nketia, Fifi Kwete, and Atufo responding in another press conference.
No, but it wasn't a direct response.
Hold on a second. You see, look.
Remember what I said to you, that press conference
was not planned. But you see,
today, it wasn't part of that.
Yeah, but I'm saying that, I'm saying you're looking at that and you're saying, look, there is no way that at the end of it all, Atufo will not be leader of the minority. He will be leader.
I think the Rubicon has been crossed.
He will be leader. He will be leader of the minority.
That's what that is.
So the challenge now is that, look, they have come out there, they have come with their plea and everything. Muntaka has made a mistake by coming out there to come and talk about it. They didn't go through it. And whoever advised him has done him a great disservice. Yeah. He should have learned from Haruna Idrisu. He wasn't there.
Yeah, plausible deniability.
Yeah, he wasn't there. He wasn't there. Muntaka should not have been there. Sometimes he gets a few things. That is pretty that we do patapa in politics. So sometimes you sit back, send the boys. Then you come back and say, oh, it's okay. Then you will not come and say, guys, take your time. This part thing, it doesn't work.
Certain reputation.
It doesn't work all the time. And in fact, he's doing himself a great disservice. But I would have expected, at that point in time, the party to just hold on. You see? Why? The moment I am making that point. Because they came with a plea. In that plea, Muntaka is talking too much. You see, this is like a drowning man clutching a straw. He's gone. Okay? Let the boys deal with him. And they would have dealt with him anyway. But the moment the party comes out to come and respond and says, oh, we are in charge, my goodness. Anybody within the minority who's, pleading with a neck to reconsider their decision, and you are to force him saying that, oh, I'm in charge, we're going to do this. The point is that you are saying, despite all the things that you're saying, I'm not going to listen to anything. I'm with these people. At the end of the day, they're not the people you are going to be leader over. You're going to be leader over your caucus. Don't be seen as fighting your caucus from the early stages.
Who at all?
Yes. Because no. Because the moment the guys make a point and you come back, they are pleading. And in that plea, they say that, oh, so since we have not resumed and we are still on recess.
I prefer to Ato. When he got his opportunity to speak at the party's press conference, what did he say? He said that there is a scheduled meeting next week, Tuesday.
Yes.
At which meeting we hope to resolve the issues. That's a fair point.
But he also says...
in other words,
he also says...
And that will be put
he also says, we have started working.
Yeah, of course. But that's like he has said before.
Yeah, but no. But
he has said that. He was just repeating the point that he had made in the morning before the...
No. When your people are pleading...
Yeah.
And the National Executive Committee hurriedly organizes a meeting...
you said not to go.
I am saying no.
I said no. You said not to go.
No.
You just
hold on.
That's not realistic.
Anybody who wants to be NDC leader today, their allegiance is not to any other member of parliament. To be fair, their allegiance is where the actual source of power is.
Which is that?
It's the party leadership today.
The party leadership and John Mahama.
I'm saying that yes, that's in fact John Mahama is the radical underpinning.
Yeah.
Without that root, there's nothing that will stand.
Yeah.
When you build on the left leg, which is having the party support you, and he says these people do not want them, no matter what the party, in fact, I'm not even sure that the announcement would have been made in the first place.
Yeah,
Secondly, if anybody else feels that, oh no, I will be able to stand on my own, be independent within the NDC in parliament, that will be very short-lived too. Because watch how political parties, when they are in opposition, scrambling for power, they behave. They cut off everybody they see problematic. Their only focus is heading towards power. And they are willing at all times to sacrifice even some of their best people to get to that point. If they think you have doubts about the agenda they want to persecute, seek ye first the political kingdom. There is a certain unification of agenda here. Ideally, they expected acrimony between, say, Nketia and Fifi Kwete did not happen. If this did not have a back had a bigger, larger support, Fifi would have been the first stumbling block. But you see him out there openly, consistently.
But he signed the letter.
Yes. So what is now left is what is supposed to be the group in parliament who have different views for different reasons for doing what they are doing today. And I'm insisting that all of the reasons they are positing, it is not least because there isn't consultation or proper consultation. Because I know that deep within them, they would have actually had a more competent way of dealing with lack of consultation than open press conference and counter what they call a statement.
No, but I just explained to you that press conference was triggered by.
No, I get you. Hold on. I get your point. I am not disputing that at all.
Yeah.
I'm saying that power source. Before you actually go and react to that press conference, you have asked the power source.
Yeah.
What they are saying, is it something that we should react to?
Yeah.
What are you saying? What is your decision on this matter?
Yeah.
So I'm aligned or not aligned. So we cannot act like we have some independent MPs who are acting purely based on their conscience in this particular case.
But let me say something maybe controversial, but I think that's what it is. I think this is a storm in a teacup because once John Mahama comes down and calls a meeting, this will blow away.
Well, but I've told you. But you see,
because look, John Mahama, as we speak today, 2024, right? He's the only person in the party who has the potential of being the next president. Right?
But I have told you that whatever happens, Atu will be minority leader.
But that's my point. That's the point I'm coming to. Mm-hmm. He's the only person with that potential. None of the boys in the party now has that potential. And until John Mahama decides not to go again, he has full control of the thing. And the thing is, assuming he becomes president in 2025, if you stood against his wish in this one, you are finished. You are not in his government. You know what I mean?
I get you.
So if he returns from his trip, and today I'm told he's called the boys, he's called the Atu and his colleagues, and said, calm down.
Yeah.
I'm going to return. When I get to that, we'll solve this matter. Right? When he returns, and he sits in the room with the minority boys, matter close.
That's when they'll do the consultations.
That's consultation.
That's consultation.
No, but including Harry and Yusuf.
Can't stand up and say, no, I disagree.
Let me tell you something. On PMSS on Monday, when I read this over my show, the night before, right? I have interviewed Aaron many times. Each time I've raised the question of, presidential primaries.
We are not there yet.
He quickly doesn't want to touch that subject at all. For the very first time on my show, I didn't even ask him an explicit question on John Mahama.
He was so interested in picking him out and supporting him fully.
Hook, line, sinker. Declaring his open. In fact,
but it's obvious Mahama will win.
Exactly.
No, but it's the person's shift.
It has been obvious before, but it was still not that direct.
From I am independent of declaring.
Yeah,
when people were saying presumptive candidate, he never joined that group. In fact, he had actually when the people who were supposed to have supported not John Dramani, I didn't get here because of John Dramani Mahama, including Ibrahim, what do you call it, Ahmed, had actually gone out there to go and say that we
publicly.
He went out to displace it.
The neutral line. Publicly. But of course we know he's publicly. But now he has an opportunity a day before he went on. Now I get it.
Many people knew that this conversation was happening as far back as Saturday.
No, he knew.
I'm saying that.
Yeah.
He knew. A day after when the thing happened, I look back on my internet, I'm like,
no, he knew.
There was something happening.
No. But of course he would know.
There was something happening.
In fact, anyway, I'll just have to leave it at that because, all the happenings within the NDC at the final minute, and the people who are calling different people and, have you seen the statement? When he says, they are doing this. I mean, look, the thing about politics is that before you go, you will know. Somebody in there would have stepped on his toe and said, my guy. And that's why I was saying, for instance, that, look, probably if they had gone to consult them, for instance, if they had spoken to Haruna even first before taking the decision, he probably would have said he was resigning.
But in all fairness.
He would have said he was resigning as minority leader.
I actually think that the people who know today, before that letter was sent to the speaker, Haruna Yusuf was told. There was a conversation of somebody of prominence and power.
Well, that is what Acting Nketia claims.
Okay.
But I've also heard from the other side that says, in fact, I was told somebody thought that Acting Nketia was lying, and asked me to ask him who is the individual he claims was sent to meet them, because position was that nobody came to see them to tell them about it. They didn't know.
No, I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the individual Haruna Idrisu.
That he in particular, he was told.
Yeah.
I know, of course. I think now when I look back on it, I think
He was told. As of Saturday, he knew what was happening.
But here's the thing, Raymond.
No, he got wind of it.
No, he got wind of it because
he got wind of it. Raymond.
Think about it. If you knew,
he knew that there will be changes.
No, think about it this way.
And that there are plans of changes.
No, but think about it this way. If you knew that on Tuesday morning you were gone, why would you come on national television and pitch your and lay out your legacy?
No,
that's
that was a move. It's a counter move because the main accusation against the man is that he's not supporting him.
So I suggested that it was an attempt to
so that they can make that change in the final minute because he felt it could still be changed.
Okay.
Well, but if you listen carefully
today, there are people who still feel it can be changed.
No, but if you listen to the interview, but hold on. If you watch the interview carefully, he makes a point. You may not like Haruna Idrisu. You can say all of that. But I have done this, I have done that. That, with hindsight, is one telling you, I know I am leaving. You may say all the things you want to say about me. But you see, I also know that on Tuesday, before the letter came out, he was asking people, unless you want to say that's pretense, but I don't want to go into details, because he was asking people what was really happening. He was asking what was happening.
Yeah, but after what was happening, I understand why he would ask that, because it's only as indicator and NPP who know really. I mean, so if you are not that there, you know.
And there are also other very senior people who have been spoken to and had actually gotten the buy-in and were also indirectly supporting. So this is almost like a party saying who are the people we need to be in the middle of this thing before we can roll it out nice.
But they kept that circle very close.
Yes.
Guys,
and included
why have we gone past our time? And we've not even read our messages.
it's a new year.
For long.
Oh, it means we missed talking.
Yes.
The NDC is showing the government that they are.
No, you know what we're going to do? Raymond, we have to bring Evans on SMS tomorrow. He will join Vazun. We'll continue the conversation on SMS.
I'll be there. We'll talk about it.
Yes, we'll talk about that.
Because you know the original conversation, and this links directly to it, we wanted to have was about the domestic debt exchange program, the government putting their hands in our pocket. But we're talking about NDC. This is the tragedy of what we are talking about now. The big issues of bread and butter, right? That concern you and concern me and our survivor. The NDC has managed for some reason to take those issues away, and they are saying that focus on our negatives, focus on our dirty linen that we are washing in public. So yeah, I mean, it's what it is. Kudiabo, the NDC is showing the government that they are bold when it comes to making hard decisions. We need to reshuffle. You know what I heard also yesterday? That the NPP is also about to reshuffle in Parliament.
But such a man has never liked this position. You know, he's never liked it, and it's obvious too that I'm told, a lot of things not working for him.
I'm told that also next week this will happen. That there's also a reshuffle happening in their front in Parliament. We'll see. Abubakar says, we the grassroots support. Hey, that's Abubakar. Abubakar, I agree with you. we the grassroots support the decision of the party rather than their parochial interest. Their problem was the approval of how Akumsin and co. You know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of a certain gentleman called Sami J.P. And the accusations he leveled publicly against Haruna Idrisu. Right? I think this has come back full circle.
The resignation, and I spoke to Samuel Okudeta Ablakwa the other time, his resignation from that particular vetting committee, the appointment committee of Parliament, the indication is that that committee in itself was not representing the larger interest of the party. And sometimes, because a party decides, and the people on the ground say, everybody gives the indication that we will not support this decision. Somebody like the current aquaculture minister gets votes that can never be that of the government alone. In fact, gets into the 150 or so. And
148.
Yes, 100.
A lot of NDC.
Yes, a lot of NDC actually supported that. So how come that happened?
But that one, yes, of course. If you're a leader, you have to take the blame. But this is the reality. Look, the female caucus within Parliament itself, we're never going to allow that to go.
that female caucuses have never been more powerful than the party.
Oh, hold on.
About numbers.
Hold on, it's about numbers. Secret balloting. About secret voting.
It has never been more powerful than party C.
I am also making a point.
Sometimes personal interest.
My brother,
No,
personal
Party
interest.
interest.
Personal interest.
Yeah.
There was religious interest even in that in that whole
And all
thing.
those things will play out. Anyway,
There was ethnic consideration even in how Akumsi
that's true. Yeah.
in this man's case.
The one that you should fear is the votes that Kenofriata got after he was.
Okay, by consensus. You see, the whole thing is not. The whole problem was Ken, that they decided that it shouldn't be brought to the plenary for voting, and that it was by consensus.
Paul Mensah says, it means you guys are enjoying the conversation yourselves. I'm equally enjoying it. I love listening to great minds. Thank you very much. Still Waters, Dr. Atufosin will do the job. What say you?
That he will continue in that role.
Dr. Atufosin will do the job. What say you?
What is he asking?
No, he's saying, I'm asking whether you agree with him. Still Waters.
Oh no, I think that this decision has gone too far to be changed.
He will perform. It means he will perform. He will do well. Don't set your own questions. Don't set your own questions and answer.
So by the way, look, we have not been able to talk about
Domestic debt.
We'll talk. As for that, he hasn't finished. Our next we will return. The 31st deadline would have
been over. Yes.
And then we'll see what the nature of that exchange looks like, right?
Yeah, it's true though.
So we'll talk about it. Whether they will exempt individual bond. And you made a very important point when we're having a private conversation that if the NPP exempts domestic individual bond holders, right, they would, in the midst of all this confusion in the NDC, which will leave, they will begin to start get some advantage in the game.
And you see, the NPP are very good politicians around this time. Don't be surprised if they help the NDC fight.
Yeah.
As in this fight that is going on.
Yeah.
Hey, you're right though.
Don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if
anybody remember when Abang Bagbe's campaign? It was a same Sabusu who flew over.
Yeah.
Is it Abang Bagbe?
Oh, Abang Bagbing and Abang Bagbing to help Chairman Sabusu.
They went to campaign for him.
Oh yes, Messi and Dombote. Don't worry.
So you're right.
Messi and Dombote.
Anyway, guys, we'll return next week and return to the real. We hope by next week, your mama would have returned. This matter would have moved, so we can return to the issues that affect all of us.
We will come back to it. Whatever happens,
we'll come back to it. So enjoy the rest of your day.